Season 1, Episode 4 of the Testaments. Now, my question is, what if the most dangerous thing that folks can do is not just trying to escape, not just speaking out, but just their feelings being seen, their fear being observed and clocked? This is fear. So in this episode, it highlights not just that fear, but how much it is managed and hidden and controlled. And if it slips out, if it is observed for even a second, it can cost the characters everything. Now, per usual, we're going to lean back into the horrifying reality that is Gilead. And everyone in Gilead is, of course, afraid, but survival depends on the acting skills, on their ability to pretend. So this episode opens with what looks innocent, cookie decorating. They are preparing for a tea party to honor the aunts and basically showcase how well of a wife each of these girls can be through a high-ranking ritual of this tea party that they're going to have. So a florist runs up to Daisy, urgently whispering, "Tell Garth they've got to move me. They're closing in." And just like that, we're reminded that even though we're decorating cakes and everything is cutesy, that there is a resistance and there is fear all around, despite the beauty that may have been prevalent for just a moment on that day. Now, that woman is part of Mayday. Daisy is part of Mayday. Daisy is realizing how quickly things can fall apart. The girls are walking to the party, and as they are walking to the party, they pass bodies hanging over the side of a bridge. No one is disturbed. Most of them don't react at all because to them it is normal. Daisy is shaken because she should be. Agnes tries to comfort her with the usual Gilead logic. These were bad people. This keeps us safe. And this hits Daisy. They are watching. And they are always conditioning. Back at the house, Agnes and Becca share a dance. This scene is pretty loaded. It's clear that Becca's feelings are not just friendly. Even the music choice in that scene really leans into that. And in Gilead, this is danger. So at the party, we are getting a lot of Daisy's internal dialogue. So Daisy is clocking everything. She's observing the dynamics, the fear, the backstories of the girls, how the girls interact with and treat their Marthas. There is absolute pressure for perfection in every single moment. This is not just a party. This is an audition for a marriage. Now, at this party, there is more interaction between Daisy and Garth, who, as we know by now, are both a part of Mayday. Daisy gets a moment with Garth and tells him straight up that she wants out. She wants to go back to Canada, and he lets her know this is not an option. He shuts it down. And it is not because he doesn't care, because of course he absolutely does, but because the stakes are too high. He cannot just pull her out of this. He cannot get her out and just go back to Canada. It is not just the flip of a switch that I am certain Daisy was absolutely hoping it would be. Now, the party starts. It is cold, robotic, controlled, performed. The better you perform, the better your future husband. And in this party, we are able to see just how horrendous Mrs. Mackenzie is. She deliberately trips one of the girls serving tea just to sabotage her. This girl is terrified because one mistake can ruin her chances of having a husband that is quote unquote decent. So that tells you just everything about how cruel this system is, but absolutely how cruel and heartless Mrs. Mackenzie is. She wants her daughter to get the best husband. She wants Agnes out of there. Now, during this time at Agnes's home, Daisy has the opportunity to sneak off into Mr. Mackenzie's office. Whatever she's looking for, we know it's not something minor. So As she walks into his office, he's in the corner. She didn't see him as she walked in. She gets caught, and she is quick on her feet. She pivots fast. She says that she was just looking for chocolate. She saw some on his desk, and she hasn't had any chocolate since she left Canada. He gives her some chocolate. But this is where there's some little tiny details that matter a lot. On the wrapper to that chocolate, there's writing in Japanese. And we later learn that Japan is sanctioned against Gilead. So how did he get that is the next question, right? Now, back to the girls at the party. All the girls are given a slice of cake, and they have a tradition that a bridal figurine is baked into the cake. Whoever gets it next is going to be the next one to get married. And that is Agnes. Now, on this figurine, she chips her tooth, which means the dentist. And we know the dentist is a monster. He is not someone safe for her to be alone with at any moment. Now she's sedated on her next visit, vulnerable, alone, and there is no one to tell. There is no one to protect her, no one to keep her safe, because as we know in Gilead, that's not what's built into the system. While Agnes is inside, Daisy has an opportunity to communicate with Garth, and she warns him about Agnes's feelings for him. There are moments of stolen glances that Daisy has the intelligence to identify. She warns him because honestly, proximity is a danger. And she also lets him know about the chocolate. So again, hinting at something bigger, with the writing being in Japanese on this chocolate. So after the dentist appointment, they go back to Agnes's home, and Agnes comes back, and her mother immediately puts her down. No comfort, no concern, just criticism. And she makes a comment about Agnes having bad genes, quote unquote. But Agnes cannot react. She can't show her emotion. She can't show her that she's offended by that. After Mrs. Mackenzie, aka Paula, walks away, Daisy and Agnes have a bonding moment where Daisy asks her about her mother. Agnes opens up just a little bit. She talks about Tabitha, the only mother that she's allowed to acknowledge. And Daisy says, what about your biological mother? And she lets her know, like, that's rude. I'm not allowed to talk about that. And Daisy shares that she lost her mother too. It's a small moment between the two, but it is very real, and it shows real emotion between the two in that moment. Now, as Daisy is leaving Agnes's home, she gets back into the van with the other Pearl girls, and they, of course, pass back by the florist shop on their way to the dormitories. And now the florist is gone. She is killed, but of course, for being a part of Mayday. And Daisy sees exactly what happens if she were to be caught. Now, the episode ends with paralleling Daisy and Agnes. They're absolutely from different worlds, but they are not. So Agnes realizes as she's getting ready for the evening that her clothes were disturbed at the dentist. She knows what had happened to her. She's in the mirror. She's panicking. She's alone. And we also see that Daisy is also unraveling. She's processing everything that she saw, everything that she's risking, and her internal voice reminds her that she's not alone. She's not the only one, and that she has to pretend like everybody else in this cruel Gilead world. So this episode really shows how fear operates in Gilead, that it is constantly contained. And I think Agnes is starting to wake up. I also think that Daisy and Agnes are going to pull each other further into that awareness. And I want to know, what do you think Daisy is going to do next? Do you think that Agnes will confide in her? Do we think that Becca is doing enough to conceal what she's thinking and feeling about Agnes? Definitely share your thoughts on the show so far.